basically everything. Do you read the reviews? There are websites, aren't there, that just specifically deal with reviews. I'm thinking of things like TripAdvisor. There are companies' own websites which often have reviews on there. There's social media. There are just so many places you can get a steer on whether the thing that you're going to part with your hard-earned for is any cop or not. But how trustworthy are they? Do you believe them? A new law could be brought in to actually make it illegal for companies to pay people to write decent online reviews for them, because they're fake, and this is quite big business. There are lots of people who will, for money, write reviews saying that something is good, which does seem a bit dodgy, doesn't it? So, can you trust online reviews? Have you gone on something and bought something on the say-so of the review, only to be massively disappointed? Equally, spin it on its head. Have you read reviews and thought, hang on, it can't be that bad, and gone there and it's been absolutely brilliant? So, I don't know, let's talk about this. How much of an influence is it on your purchasing decision? It's always good, isn't it, to get an idea, a review, but it's the source, isn't it? Back in the day, I suppose, before the internet, you'd have asked somebody, a friend or something, have you been to that restaurant down the road? And they'd have gone, yeah, it's great. Or, no, it's rubbish, don't bother. And that would be, because you know them, you like them, you probably like similar kind of things if you're friends with them. That's how you'd have done it. But the internet kind of opens that up, doesn't it? But can you trust the source? 0800 121 8181. Email me, elliot.webb@bbc.co.uk. Scott Dixon is on the line. He's the consumer expert from The Grumpy Git, which I like the sound of that, Scott. That sounds like, have you got any jobs? I think I could work for you. Oh, pretty grumpy git. So what do you think about this as an idea?
Good morning, Elliot. I think it's a great idea, and it's long overdue. And I've actually been subject to a fake review myself.
Have you?
I updated my consumer book about 3 years ago, May 2019. And I was the first review that came in was fake, and it was obviously somebody who had a grudge against me, based on what can you say, car dealerships and things like that, because that was the inspiration for writing the book. So, and I tried to report the fake review through Amazon, and they wouldn't take it down.
So this was a book you'd written, was it? And it was on Amazon, and somebody had just sort of out of spite had sent a rubbish review to try and stop you flogging your wares, yeah?
Yeah, basically that was the crux of it.
And Amazon wouldn't do anything about it?
Amazon wouldn't do anything about it. I reported it because it wasn't flagged as a verified purchase, and it was literally just a few words, just trashing me book. And that's the latest edition of me book. It's the Consumer Guide to Resolving Complaints and Motoring Disputes. And the clue is at the end of the title, that's what triggered the fake review. And
is that still there to this day? That stays on Amazon.
It's the only one-star fake review that's on the book, and I've got plenty of good verified reviews as well, So, but I couldn't do anything about it, and it's a real problem for traders and also for purchasers.
Because this is the thing, isn't it? You could have, for example, a couple of restaurants. Say in a town you've got a couple of Italian restaurants, and one's not quite as good as the other one. The less good one could suddenly just start bombarding the better one's review sites with loads of made up. They've got to get their mates to do it, couldn't they? They could do it themselves under assumed names. It's potentially a real problem, I suppose.
It's a real problem on both sides, and I think the first thing you need to do when you're reading online reviews is to actually read the reviews. So, is it over the top? Is it just a few words describing it as perfect, or vice versa? In my case. And does it seem legitimate? Is it a verified purchase? And also look at the dates. Are there a lot of positive reviews around the same dates that follow the same pattern? So is there a trend within the reviews? Because people are paid to, a lot of people are just paid to bombard these sites with fake reviews.
I suppose... is the kind of the... I often do this, and I don't know if I'm getting it right or wrong. I'm touch wood. I've never had a really, really bad result. But I sort of take an average. So I'll sort of read maybe 10 reviews or something, I'll ignore the really, really, really good ones, and I'll ignore the really, really bad ones, and I'll just sort of read somewhere in the middle, and that seems to serve me quite well. Is that good advice?
It is, yeah. It's something that I do myself, actually. I ignore the 5-star ratings, and I just work my way down through the 4, 3, 2, and 1-star reviews, and you get to gauge an honest opinion from that. And you can also filter the reviews, so a lot of the sites may have default settings or top reviews, so you can actually click on that and go for the most recent ratings. And also you can click on the reviewer to see how many reviews they've lodged and how many purchases they've made.
Yeah, because if it's someone who's just relentlessly reviewing everything, then chances are they're probably being paid, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. So that's the sort of thing that you look out for, you know, and also, yeah, look for verified purchase, you know, and yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I suppose you have to do a little bit of homework, don't you, behind the scenes? Scott, good to speak to you. I'm going to give you a 5-star review for that little contribution.
Well, there are consumer rights. You are well protected on consumer rights with this, Elliot. So, ordering goods online, the Consumer Contracts Regulation 2013, it gives you a 14-day cooling off period. So you can cancel at any time from the moment you place the order, and up to 14 days after taking ownership of the goods.
Yes,
and then you have another 14 days from the date you notify the seller of your intention to return the goods to get a full refund if you've changed your mind or...
Yeah, no, that's quite good advice. I mean, the only thing is, though, what about holidays and experiences and things? Isn't it? That's a bit different, isn't it? If it's a special birthday or something, you're going out for a posh meal and you get there and you have a rubbish night, it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Consumer Rights Act 2015 covers most complaints that I see.
Yeah.
So any experiences or goods, services...
So you could still get your money back?
Yeah, they ought to be fit for purpose, as described, in satisfactory quality. And Section 49 of the Consumer Rights Act 2015 covers services. So services like takeaways in restaurants, and they ought to be provided with reasonable skill and care.
So
evidence is crucial, you know.
They're covered as well.
Section 75 of the Consumer Credit Act 1974 covers you for goods purchased over £100 on credit cards.
Yeah.
So that holds the card provider jointly liable if anything goes wrong. And if you pay by debit card or credit card, you get 120 days to enact a chargeback for a full refund.
Yeah, often that's quite a good bit of advice, isn't it, to actually stick it on a card, because it gives you that extra level of protection. Scott, good advice as always. Thank you very much, Scott Dixon, consumer expert from the Grumpy Git. So there we are. Yeah, I suppose you do have to sort of dig into it a bit, don't you? If you look at just one bad review, that's probably going to be misleading. One brilliant view is probably going to be misleading. It's sort of somewhere in the middle, but that's top advice there about going and actually the people who are leaving the reviews, clicking on them to see how much they do this, because if they're relentlessly reviewing things, then that would suggest that they're probably getting money for it. Right, give us your experiences of this. Online reviews, how much notice do you